Hey, this is Rasmus, and in this video I am going to be giving you my opinion on the SOL Escape Bivvy, and that's not shit out of luck, but survive outdoors longer. And it's very small, as you can see. I'm holding it in my hand right now. It doesn't take up more room than my hand does, really. It's pretty much the same size as, well, I guess 2 of my fists. But then again, I don't have the biggest hands in the world. And also it is quite lightweight, doesn't really weigh anything. And it's made out of a tyvek kind of material. And this is just a stuff sack, and let's unwrap it and then take a bit closer look at it. Okay, this is kind of hard. I'm holding the mic with one hand and then using the other to unpack this thing. So I'll probably be cutting a bit in the video. Alright, here we go. It's now unfolded, and as you can see, there's no insulation in it. It's just this tyvek material with like a reflective coating on the inside. And it works quite well actually at reflecting your body heat. And that's also why it actually works to keep you warm. That's mainly because of this reflective coating. And also just the fact that it keeps you out of the wind helps quite a bit as well. It's supposed to be waterproof, and it kinda is. I would more call it water resistant, because if you have water on it and you touch it, some water will come through. And that's also kind of obvious in a way, as it's also breathable, at least a little bit. I will say that I have had a few issues with actually moisture building up on the inside while sleeping in this. I'll go a bit more into detail to this in just a bit. First, I just want to let you know that it's also got a zipper, as you can see here on the side. It's got a zipper, but it only goes halfway down the length of the, or maybe not even halfway down, maybe 1/3 the way down of the sleeping bag, if you can call it that. That being said, it's actually really nice. I've been using this down to 5 degrees Celsius. I'm not exactly sure how much that is in Fahrenheit. I think it's around maybe 42. But I'm not sure about that. But yeah, I've used it down to 5 degrees Celsius, and that has been with a lot of thermal clothing on, like long underwear, long johns and stuff. But even then, I was still wearing like a sweater and also a woolen jacket. Oh no, sorry, not woolen jacket. But a down jacket, and like a puff jacket, and that helps quite a lot at keeping you warm as well. And then also one thing I often do with that when I actually use this, because I've used it at warmer temperatures and been quite comfortable actually. Around 10 degrees Celsius, it actually works quite well, and also it doesn't build up as much moisture when it's warmer out as opposed to when it's cold outside. So that also makes a big difference for when it's cold outside. But one thing, let me see, I think I have it close to me. Yeah, one thing I always use actually in this Escape Bivvy is my silk liner, which just makes it more comfortable and also kind of wicks away a little bit of the moisture, I guess. And it also helps just keeping it a bit more comfortable when you're actually lying in it, and your skin won't come into direct contact with the actual tyvek, even though the tyvek is actually quite comfortable to the skin, so it's not that big of an issue. But just adding this adds warmth, and also just keeps you away from the moisture that is building up on the side of the Escape Bivvy, if you have that as a problem. I guess maybe I'm just sweating a lot when I sleep, so that could be part of the problem. But yeah, and then a funny little story. As you can see right here, I burned a hole in my escape bivvy, and that was this winter, or last winter actually. It was in January. So yeah, we went out, me and a friend, I went with my escape bivvy and then my sleeping bag, because I knew that it would be too cold for just the escape bivvy. And I think it got down to -5 degrees Celsius. So it was quite cold, and the problem I had is that I used this as a bivvy bag and I put it on the outside of my sleeping bag. And that actually ended up just making my sleeping bag super soaked from all my like sweat and just moisture building up. And apparently it wasn't breathable enough to actually let all the moisture from my sweat out. So I ended up really cold during the night, and that was not a comfortable experience. I think that what I should have done would probably be to use the bivvy bag as the inner layer, sort of like a vapor barrier, and then have the sleeping bag on the outside, because then that would trap the air, because like there's nothing in this to actually insulate you, so it's all just reflecting part of your body heat back to you, which is good enough for most temperatures. But like when it gets really cold, then you will need something that actually traps the heat as well, which this doesn't do. So I think actually just using this as sort of a vapor barrier, that would also keep my sleeping bag dry, and then having the sleeping bag on the outside to like trap all the heat inside the bivvy bag, which would then have this reflective coating to reflect the heat back to me. I think that would probably be comfortable. Okay, so I can see that this video is dragging out quite a bit now. So just to like finish off, I would say that I really like this thing just because it's super light. I actually don't quite remember the weight right now. Let me just check if I have it on my lighter pack, which I have open on the computer right now. Yeah, okay, so I have weighed this to be 246 grams. So that is really quite light. So it's not a heavy thing, which is also super nice, and takes up no room in your backpack basically, which also makes it quite nice for survival situations. So it's a good thing to just kind of always carry this with you if you're just going for day trips. Like 246 grams is not really going to punish you, so you might as well just throw it in there. Then if bad weather comes around and you need, like, you can't find your way back to your car, whatever, like, I mean, then you have it, and it's kind of keeps the water away from you because it's water resistant, as I said, and also it just like helps you to keep warm, you know. And of course, also another thing I just have to add quickly is that in the hood, it does have a hood, and it does have a drawstring, so you can actually cinch this up tight around you, which helps, because what you really need to do with this is actually trap the heat inside, just because there's nothing to really hold the heat and trap air. So the heat just escapes if you keep it open, you know. So you really need to cinch it down around you, and that traps the air, and then that helps the reflected heat to actually keep or to stay inside the escape bivvy. Okay, now we're turning up at 10 minutes, so I'm just going to tell you that that is going to be all for now. I hope you enjoyed my little review, and I will put a link to this product on Amazon down in the description if you want to check it out. And I will see you in the next video, which is maybe going to be about my whole sleep system, because I would like to talk about how I used this in combination with my sleeping bag actually in another video. Maybe go a bit more into detail about that. But yeah, thanks for watching.